Yo YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy SalvationsElite, and we are back with another video, guys. And man, today Rostermania is back again. I mean, at this point it's just gonna always be here apparently, but for reals, this is the second video, kind of the end of Rostermania for the most part, as now FaZe, Envy, Deniel, EG basically have all confirmed their rosters, and the Pro League spots are once again set, as Accelerate and Red Reserve give up their spots to FaZe and to Deniel. So obviously a lot went down this weekend. I was out of town, so I couldn't make a video about FaZe when that was confirmed and everything. So we're talking about it today. Woo! So I don't have as much time to go in depth about everything in this video, so I'm gonna save it for another video I'm gonna post pretty soon here, going in depth about the World League and rosters and predictions and everything. So with that said, basically the breaking news is that FaZe confirmed their roster. That news was out last week, the end of last week. So FaZe's roster is Cellium, Skrapz, Zoomaa, and Zero. Obviously it's a solid squad, star-studded. I mean, they're getting Skrapz now on FaZe. He tweeted that he was hyped and it was a dream come true. And I mean, you know, good for him, man. The biggest thing for me, for this roster, is that it kind of feels like it was more of a popularity move, specifically for Skrapz. I don't know. Apparently there was offers on the table from Envy, which is interesting for sure. And I mean, we'll talk about their roster in a second. But I mean, if you're Skrapz, that roster, at least personally, seems like a little bit more enticing, unless he has something against some of those guys on that roster, which is, I mean, definitely possible. You know, who knows? But nonetheless, I'm excited to see what they can do together. Obviously, Zoomaa needs to step up his game. He hasn't been fantastic this year. Obviously, he's been in a tough situation, playing on Optic and, you know, before that. But even when he was on FaZe, he wasn't playing his best. So he needs to get back on track. And then we need to see what these guys can do, the young guns, Cellium and Asum, and see what they can do together. Obviously, we don't know too much from them. Cellium has shined in a handful of situations, but he hasn't really blossomed. Everyone kind of compares him to Dashy. I mean, it's a reasonable comparison, but at the same time, Dashy last year in complexity started dominating in that second half of the year, almost throughout the whole year for the most part, and we really haven't seen that from Cellium yet. So maybe this is his time, but that's something we're definitely keep an eye on. And then Asum, I mean, we really haven't seen anything from him when it comes to playing with pros. So it's hard to predict what this roster is going to be, but for now, I think it's gonna be more like a top 6, top 10 roster. I don't really see them competing for anything, at least for a little while. So the next big roster that was finally confirmed was Envy's squad, because they actually made some pretty big moves. So they dropped Assault and they traded basically sent Apathy over to EG, and then they brought in Decimate and Pharaoh. So it's definitely an interesting one. I mean, it's surprising. It's kind of sad to see Apathy leaving again from Envy, but I mean, you know, they really weren't doing much. They're kind of just treading water, not seeing much improvement. So I understand the roster changes, but I'm not convinced that this roster is going to be better. So it's hard to say, because it really relies on how well Pharaoh can play now that, you know, he's been a sub for a little while now. So can he hop back in the game, you know, be 100% and really slay like he was back on TK. So I mean, so for the most part, this roster has potential if they can really start to mesh and find that rhythm. I mean, it's possible that they could be great, but I'm not convinced that they're going to be a top 4 squad or anything. So again, I think they're going to be another middle of the pack squad with the potential to get top 4, but more than likely they're going to finish 6th to 10th. So the next squad is the EG squad, which is really interesting. They just announced this one officially, which was kind of rumored for a while. It's JKap, Apathy, Phantoms, Attach, and Exotic, which obviously is a cool squad. I mean, JKap and Apathy are reunited once again, so that Envy dynamic duo's back. And I mean, it's gonna be fun to see what Attach can do. Exotic, Phantoms, obviously from FC Black. Not very many people know about him or know much about him, obviously, but he's a pretty promising player. Obviously, I mean, I haven't seen much of him either, so there's a lot of question marks when it comes to him. But this is another team where if they can find their rhythm, they could be pretty good. I definitely don't see them as a top 4 team though. I mean, unless Exotic and Phantoms were going to make some pretty huge steps forward. But right now, top 6 probably. Again, I think all these teams are kind of right in that 6 to 10 category. There's no massive changes, but they could make an impact if they find the right rhythm. And then the final squad is Denial, who got Accelerate's league spot. So they got their roster of Alex, Rated, Joe, and Bance. Obviously, 3 of those from Red Reserve, Alex from Sween, and then they have Brack. Brack's kind of a new player onto the scene, obviously. He kind of found the spotlight this year, I guess, and Brat came from Accelerate. He's on this squad. It's gonna be interesting again to see what they can do, like I said before already with the other squads. But this is a really weird squad with the red reserve guys. I'm the least confident out of all 4 of these teams. I'm the least confident about this team. I don't really know what to expect from the red guys, and then, you know, bringing in Brack as well. It's a weird squad for sure, and one that I don't think anyone's that confident in. So it's gonna be that they're definitely gonna be a big thing to. It's gonna be really, really fun to watch what they can do and see if they can actually make some moves. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up moving forward. So obviously this was a really quick video, a little update. I'll dive deeper into these teams and predictions upcoming in a future video, so be on the lookout for that. But as always, guys, I really appreciate all the support. I really, really do appreciate it. Like, comment, favorite, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Share the video if you guys really enjoy it. I really, really do appreciate it. As always, I'm trying to do this long term, and I cannot do that without you guys. But as always, guys, I'm your boy SalvationsElite, and we'll see you next time.